We've also been working hard and have made it a board priority to have a much more active Friends group. And now actually the Friends president is a former board member from many years ago, which is great. What is it? I don't know her name.
Judy Ellis.
Judy Ellis. Many of you know her. But they're another arm of how we interact with the community. They're really out there. They talk up the library. They're raising money. Our ongoing sale that they have, they make lots of money from it, so much that we're not going to do annual sales anymore. And they are able to then make donations to us. And they have ideas of what they want to give money for, but they want stuff that, are really going toward the citizens of LaGrange. Great programming, new collections like the video game collection. But we've had such a positive response from all of our outreaches to the community that we want to do more. We've been encouraged to do more. I was also asked to address how the board works together. As president, I have stressed communication, not just that we communicate with each other, but as I said before, we use the proper channels of communication. I also want to say that this, as Jeannie said, this is an active board. Over the last few years, we've built a building and hired a new director. We are used to meeting all the time. There was a point at which, for a few years, we met every single Tuesday. My husband changed his entire work schedule around our meetings. He now works a half-day Tuesdays instead of Mondays, because that way he knew no matter what, I could get to the meetings. But really, I think we probably have meetings at least twice a week, twice a month, if not 3 times a month, between committees and the board meetings. And so we tried, every board member leaves Tuesdays, the evenings open, pretty much. So because we know there's a chance there's going to be a board meeting, and we just got used to that. I've also stressed sending things to committee. For a while, we were trying to do everything as a board, and that's because we were building a building and no one wanted to be left out. But we're back to doing that. Each trustee is a chair of at least one committee. One of my jobs as president is to assign committee responsibilities, and I made sure, since we have 6 possible people, we have, your basic committees and buildings and grounds, fundraising, donations. We have a village liaison who comes to all the meetings.
Long-range
plan.
Policy, finance, personnel, and archives.
That's right, finance, personnel, and archives. And there's enough that, and there's an MLS, the Metropolitan Library System, and we actually got Bill Coffey, a trustee, to be on, he got voted onto the Metropolitan Library System board. So now we actually have a library representative from LaGrange. It's only like a 10-person board, right? Mm-hmm. So we have good representation there. But I make sure that that committee chair gets their assignment, follows through on it. I check up with either them or with Jeannie to make sure things are happening, discuss who needs to meet, what are the, when are their deadlines. Like one of the things, we're taking quotes for video cameras for the parking lot, and that's coming up this month. But I can make sure that I'm aware of that so everyone's doing it. Things have been moving much faster in the library now that we've worked with that committee. During our meetings, communication is very good, although we try to come to consensus on large issues. This is not a board that rubber stamps everything. We have respectful disagreements frequently. In fact, our discussions I've even seen, led to people changing their minds. It works well. We're not afraid to disagree, which I think is great for the board and the community, but we do try to come together on large issues. In the last 2 years, I've also begun leading each decision-making situation by actually calling on every trustee to give their opinion. Like, okay, thank you, Rose, Bill, what is your opinion of this? Because in the past, if some people weren't as willing to speak out. And this way, I'm asking for their opinion. They're voted to be on this board. I want to hear their opinion. And many people have an opinion, and the people that weren't talking had an opinion. They were just a little less comfortable expressing it if there were strong opinions to the counter. And now I feel like everybody's a lot more comfortable. The first few times we did it, people came to me later, trustees, and said, thank you for doing that. That was great, because I didn't feel like I could speak out, but when you called on me, I had no choice. And so they really like that. It's worked much better. I also try very hard to refrain from expressing my opinion until the end, but I'm an opinionated person, and I don't always fulfill that, but I try. Our weakness as a board right now is we are not geographically diverse. When I lived over in Spring, we also had 3 other people who lived in the Spring district. Right now, we all live in the historic district. I've moved, Jane's moved, but she's moved within the historic district. And Rose lives on the other side of the Grange Road. We want better balance. It would be great if we did. We realize that's a weakness. We go out of our way to talk to people in the other areas of LaGrange and find out what's going on, but it is a weakness. We also used to have people with financial backgrounds. We no longer do. The best we have is Jane's husband has an MBA. And she has bounced ideas off him. But We used to always have somebody with a strong financial background, and we don't any longer. And we really want to do more advocacy and fundraising. But a lot of us have been doing this for so long, so new blood to kind of be gung-ho about it would be great. Just my last comment, we take our financial responsibility very seriously as a board. That's really our biggest thing, to spend your money wisely. We've had a balanced budget for almost 40 years now, and it's been in good times and in bad. As a board, we're very serious about being careful with the citizens' money. When we interview new directors, that was one of our big questions. You know, this is important to us. Jeannie, although she ran a department at her library as big as our library's budget, for her budget, was not as familiar with the levy process, went through training in it last year, has done a great job. Even with the economic downturn, we're going to be just fine. And I know there's a lot of other libraries who are talking about maybe closing in here in other communities.
We do have a very healthy reserve fund that was built up in better economic times, so we're doing fairly well financially.
But we take it very seriously as a board. We're always projecting out. We're always making sure we have enough, and that's something that all of us on the board. So anybody who ran for the board, you know, if they didn't feel that way, we'd hammer it into them as soon as they got there, because it's really important to us.